Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into the fascinating story of Hannibal Barca, one of history's greatest military commanders. Get ready for an adventure through time. From the scorching deserts of North Africa to the icy peaks of the Alps, Hannibal's story is one of audacity, brilliance, and relentless determination. He was a general who redefined warfare, a strategist who challenged one of history's mightiest empires, and a leader who inspired generations. Over the next few minutes, we'll retrace Hannibal's footsteps, exploring his upbringing in Carthage, his daring march across the Alps, and his legendary battles against Rome. So, buckle up and prepare to be captivated by the legend of Hannibal Barca. Born in 247 BC, Hannibal Barca entered a world consumed by conflict. Carthage, his homeland, was locked in a bitter struggle with a rising Rome. This wasn't just a clash of armies, it was a clash of cultures, a fight for dominance in the ancient Mediterranean. Hannibal's father, Hannibal Barca, instilled in his young son a deep hatred for Rome. Imagine Hannibal as a young boy accompanying his father to the training grounds, witnessing the drills, the discipline, the raw power of the Carthaginian army. He learned by doing, observing, absorbing the art of war from a master tactician. Legend has it that Hamilcar made his young son swear an oath of eternal enmity towards Rome. Picture a young Hannibal, hand on an altar, pledging his life to challenge the might of the Roman Republic. This oath would shape his destiny, setting him on a collision course with history. By his early 20s, Hannibal had already proven himself on the battlefields of Iberia, serving under his brother-in-law Hasdrubal the Fair. He quickly earned a reputation for his courage, his tactical acumen, and his ability to inspire his troops. When Hasdrubal was assassinated, the mantle of leadership fell upon Hannibal. The soldiers, recognizing his inherent leadership qualities, proclaimed him their new commander. He was ready to step out from the shadows and claim his place on the world stage. The stage was set for one of the most audacious military campaigns in history. In 218 BC, Hannibal, the newly appointed Carthaginian commander, set in motion a plan that would stun the ancient world. Rather than engaging the Romans on familiar ground, he decided to take the war to Rome's doorstep. His route? The treacherous Alps, a mountain range considered impassable by many. Imagine the scene: tens of thousands of soldiers from across the Carthaginian Empire, Africans, Iberians, Gauls, assembling with their equipment, their supplies, and most astonishingly, their war elephants. These elephants, African forest elephants, were formidable weapons of war. The journey was fraught with danger. The Alps, with their narrow passes, steep slopes, and unpredictable weather, posed a formidable challenge. Hannibal, however, pressed on, his resolve unwavering. He rallied his troops, inspiring them with tales of past glories and promises of future riches. The elephants, lumbering giants in a world of rock and ice, presented a unique challenge. Despite the hardships, Hannibal's army inched its way across the Alps. After 15 grueling days, Hannibal's army, battered but not broken, emerged from the Alps onto the plains of northern Italy. It was a testament to Hannibal's audacity, his strategic genius, and his unwavering commitment to challenging the might of Rome. Chapter 3. The Battle of Canai, a masterpiece of military tactics. Hannibal's arrival in Italy sent shockwaves through the Roman Republic. Here, on their home turf, he would deliver a series of crushing defeats that would expose the vulnerabilities of the Roman legions and cement his reputation as a military genius. Of these victories, the Battle of Canai, fought in 216 BC, stands out as one of the greatest tactical achievements in military history. The Roman army, led by the consuls Lucius Aemilius Paulus and Gaius Terentius Varro, was larger than Hannibal's, boasting a force of over 80,000 men. Their confidence was high, they had size on their side and were determined to crush this Carthaginian incursion. Hannibal, outnumbered but not outmaneuvered, chose his battlefield carefully. He positioned his army near the village of Canai on a flat, open plain, ideal for his cavalry, which outnumbered the Roman horsemen. As the Roman army advanced, Hannibal's forces gradually withdrew, drawing the Romans deeper into his trap. From the Roman perspective, they were pushing back the Carthaginian line. Victory seemed within reach. Little did they know they were falling into Hannibal's carefully laid trap. At the center of Hannibal's line stood his weakest infantry, comprised primarily of Gauls. On the flanks, he positioned his more experienced African infantry. His cavalry, the hammer to his anvil, waited patiently on the wings. The Roman advance, eager for victory, pushed forward, compressing Hannibal's center, creating a bulge in the Carthaginian line. This was exactly what Hannibal had anticipated. Seeing his opportunity, Hannibal unleashed his cavalry. They smashed into the flanks of the advancing Roman army, driving back their cavalry and then wheeling around to attack the Roman infantry from the rear. The Roman legions, once so disciplined, were now surrounded, attacked from all sides. The Carthaginian trap had sprung, and the Roman army, squeezed into a killing zone, was being systematically destroyed. The Battle of Canai became a massacre. Chapter 4: The Unconquered General, Hannibal's Legacy. Hannibal's victory at Cannae sent shockwaves through the Roman Republic. After the devastating defeat, many of Rome's allies, sensing weakness, abandoned their allegiance and flocked to Hannibal's banner. For a time, it seemed as if Rome itself might fall. However, despite his string of victories, Hannibal was unable to deliver the final blow. Rome, demonstrating the resilience that would become its hallmark, refused to surrender. They reformed their armies, adopted new tactics, and prepared for a long and grueling war of attrition. Hannibal's genius lay in his understanding of battlefield tactics, his ability to outmaneuver and outsmart his opponents. He was a master of deception, of exploiting weaknesses, of delivering swift and decisive strikes. But Hannibal was more than just a brilliant tactician. He was a charismatic leader, inspiring loyalty in his troops, a diverse mix of soldiers from across the Carthaginian Empire. His men were willing to follow him across the Alps, face down larger armies, and endure hardships unimaginable. Despite his brilliance, Hannibal faced significant challenges. His supply lines, stretching back across the Alps, were vulnerable. The Carthaginian Senate often failed to provide him with the reinforcements and resources he desperately needed. Rome, on the other hand, could draw upon a vast pool of manpower and resources. They controlled the sea, which allowed them to reinforce their armies, disrupt Hannibal's supply lines, and open up new fronts in the war, forcing him to divide his forces. In the end, despite his tactical brilliance, Hannibal was unable to overcome these logistical and political obstacles. He remained undefeated on the battlefield, but his victories did not translate into the capture of Rome itself. In 203 BC, after 15 years of war in Italy, Hannibal was recalled to Carthage to defend his homeland against a Roman invasion led by Scipio Africanus. Chapter 5: Hannibal's Enduring Legacy, a giant of military history. Hannibal Barca's life, though ending in defeat and exile, left an indelible mark on history. He was a general who redefined warfare, a strategist who challenged one of the mightiest empires the world had ever seen, and a leader who inspired both admiration and fear. His daring crossing of the Alps, a feat of logistics and leadership, stunned the ancient world. It demonstrated that the Romans, for all their might, were not invincible. His subsequent victories on Italian soil, particularly his tactical masterpiece at Cannae, exposed the vulnerabilities of the Roman legions and forced them to adapt their tactics. Hannibal's campaigns were studied by military leaders for centuries. His use of deception, his ability to exploit terrain, and his mastery of cavalry tactics influenced generations of military thinkers, from Napoleon Bonaparte to Erwin Rommel. But Hannibal's legacy extends beyond the battlefield. He was a master of strategy, understanding that wars were won not just by armies, but by alliances, by logistics, and by undermining the enemy's will to fight. His ability to maintain a multi-ethnic army composed of soldiers from across the Carthaginian Empire speaks to his leadership abilities. He inspired loyalty in his men, earning their respect through his courage, his intelligence, and his willingness to share in their hardships. Even in defeat, Hannibal's impact was undeniable. His campaigns forced the Romans to adapt, to become more flexible, and to develop new strategies to counter his unconventional tactics. In many ways, Hannibal's challenges contributed to the Roman Republic's evolution into the Roman Empire, a superpower that would dominate the Mediterranean world for centuries. Today, Hannibal Barca's name still resonates. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating historical stories. See you next time. We've journeyed through time, exploring the life and legacy of Hannibal Barca, a military titan who challenged the might of Rome and left an enduring mark on the pages of history. From the sun-drenched plains of North Africa to the snow-capped peaks of the Alps, his story is one of audacity, brilliance, and unwavering determination. We hope you'll join us next time as we delve into another captivating chapter from the past.